what is the distance that you should have in between your hands? Who can answer this question? You can, because ultimately it will make sense for you. What I would recommend is to keep as much as possible shoulder width in between your hands, because therefore you can really align your hands with your shoulder and have your bones tacking on top of one another and make your handstand easy. It means that you're using your bone for alignment and not using your strength to keep you up. I know some guys that are very open, that are not very open in their shoulders and that are actually very, very strong in their shoulders, and it makes more sense for them to have a bit more space in between their hands rather than shoulder width. I also know some women that feel more comfortable with having both of their hands a little bit closer than shoulder width. For me, what makes the more sense is shoulder width. How I was taught, how I'm teaching it is shoulder width. What I'm trying to say here is that experiment, because no one has the answer, you have the answer. So try it out. I would suggest you try with shoulder width and then see how wide or close you want them to be. Another thing is the tilt of the hands that we have to look at. Similarly, depending on the mobility of the wrist, I see some guys doing it with fingers open. I know some women that have some hyperflexibility in the elbows, and therefore they like to tilt the fingers just a little bit in order for them to have more support and be a little bit more protected in their elbows and shoulders. It really depends. I was taught, and I am teaching it, to have your index facing forward, just like we do when we go into our yoga practice, right? So it is really up to you to feel what makes more sense for you. So what I would encourage you to do is to play with it. And then try and put a lot of weight by lifting your hips up and see if you feel comfortable with shoulder width, if you feel comfortable with your fingers looking out, which to me doesn't make sense at all, or you have fingers coming in, doesn't make sense at all for me either. So depending on what makes sense for you, work with this. And obviously feel free to readjust as you go and see how your handstand starts to be. You will see that ultimately the palm of the hands is the first base, right? Is what we balance on. So it is important for us to play around a little bit with our base in order to find what is the best base for me to have. And when you have this, you will see that it is reflected on how you are able to stay in your handstand or not. And when I say stand, I do have to say that balance and stability comes with time. Like I've said in the previous video, the introduction video, it comes with time. So don't be too hard on yourself by expecting at the end of the course you will master stability and be able to stay a minute in your handstand, because the more you practice, the more you get there, right? So this 1 month you will be able to be comfortable in your handstand, and then it's just about practice, practice, practice. So play around with your wrist and the distance in between your hands and the inclinations of the fingers as well, so you can then better understand how it works for you.
Hi, hope you enjoyed the video. If you're looking to master your head and handstand, we have a super comprehensive course called Upside Down in 30 days that will take you through the alignments and the muscles and everything you need to prepare and protect for these inversions. Click on the link below to check it out. And if you haven't gotten it yet, this is the Play Pause Be deck. This is an amazing tool to help you create your own sequences for your self-practice or for practicing with others. Click on the link below to learn more. Have a great day.